Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So what I want to go over today is just 5 things that you should know before you decide to get a snake as a pet. I feel like a lot of these things can be overlooked, and that can lead to a snake not being properly cared for, or you just being thrown off guard and maybe stressed out as a new keeper. So I just want to go over a few things today to try to help you out as you're first getting started. So the number one thing you should know before you decide to get a snake is that not all species are going to have the same care requirements. Some species are arboreal, meaning that they live in the trees. Others are terrestrial, meaning they live on the ground, and some actually burrow underneath the ground and don't really hang out on the surface at all. Others like it really dry and hot, some like it cooler and humid, some like it warm and humid. So it just varies a lot depending on species, so whatever you decide to get, make sure you research their care first to make sure you understand what they need before you bring them home. The second thing that a lot of people don't realize and that can cause a lot of problems and actually lead to people being scared of their snakes is not knowing that the snakes you see in pet stores or just for sale in general are typically still juveniles and have a lot of room to grow still. Now, how big they're going to get does depend on species. Some are only going to be a foot, foot and a half long, maybe even smaller. Other species can get anywhere from 16 to 20 feet, sometimes 25 feet. So just make sure that you research these species and their size before you decide to get them. Make sure that you're going to be comfortable handling them when they're an adult and that you have the space to house them properly. The next thing that I want to go over while we're on the topic of pet stores is that it's actually best to not buy from a pet store. The reptiles there typically come from very large wholesales, and in some cases they're wild caught. And whether they're wild caught or from a large wholesale, they typically have health issues, and they may look healthy when you first see them, but within a couple weeks to a couple months, problems will typically start to show up and they will require vet care. And in some cases, they just don't make it and may end up dying within a few months. Not always the case, but a lot of times that is how it goes, so just be aware of that. So now that you know that it's best to not buy from a pet store, you may be kind of lost wondering where you should get your snake. And the best thing that you can do is go to a reputable breeder who specializes in just a few species and is passionate about what they do, and make sure that all of their animals are healthy. If you can't find a good breeder in your area, just know that you can get reptiles shipped overnight. There will be a minimum of $50 to $75 shipping fee. However, it is completely worth it to make sure that you get a healthy animal. And if you don't know how to find a good breeder, a good way to find one is to go to morphmarket.com and just look at the snakes on there. If you find one that you like, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page of the snake that you're looking at, and it should show who the breeder is. And then you can go to their website and make sure that they have a good reputation and produce healthy animals before you decide to buy from them. The fourth thing you should know is that not all species are suitable for beginners. As I mentioned earlier, care will vary based on species, and in some cases the care can be very challenging, whether it be their temperature requirements, humidity, special dietary requirements, temperament, or just size that can make them more challenging. Just know that not all the species you see when you're looking for snakes are going to be a good idea as a beginner. There's plenty of species that are very challenging and are best left to advanced keepers. However, there are also plenty of snakes that are very good for beginners and have easy care requirements, good tempers, good sizes. And while we're on the topic of that, if you want to know some good beginner species, let me know and I can make a video on the top 5 or 6 that I would recommend. So just let me know in the comments if that's something that you're interested in. But either way, just be aware that not all snakes are going to be a good idea for your first snake. The final thing that I want to cover in today's video is that just because snakes can be low maintenance does not mean that they can be ignored or neglected. They do still have regular care requirements, such as changing their water, feeding them, checking their temperatures, their humidity levels, spot cleaning their enclosures, doing full cleanings of their enclosures, handling, all of that. Again, that is going to vary some based on species as far as humidity or temperature, but either way, it still needs to be checked on a regular basis. They cannot be ignored, they cannot be neglected. So even though they're low maintenance, they still have regular care requirements and need to be checked on and cared for on a regular basis. And that wraps up today's video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it and that it helped you out. Again, if you guys want a video on top 5 beginner snakes, let me know. I will be happy to make one. If you have any questions, make sure that you drop it in the comments below. And again, I hope this video helped you out and that you enjoyed it, so make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.